Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug, streaming live daily on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Excuse me. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. The focus of my presentation and the focus of the Options-Doug chat channel in Discord is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. And I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis and for setups for entries and exits. And when I talk about setups, I will be talking about setups in an underlying asset. And those setups can be taken with options, stocks, or futures. And I will be talking about setups at a level that are good for all of those instruments, not necessarily scalping futures. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Doug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. And hello, Karma FX. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. All right, so what I want to talk about today, my agenda, first of all, I want to go over economic data, events, and earnings coming up for today as well as the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis. Then I want to review some setups from this morning, and then I'll talk about the live market. So when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. All right, so first of all, earnings, economic data, and events. For today, of course, there are a couple of big earnings reports after the market closes. And let's just take a look at that. This is something new that Spotgamma introduced, this earnings chart. So this is available, as far as I know, to Spotgamma subscribers. And what this is showing is the instrument that is reporting earnings and whether it is before the market open or after the market closes. So the blue dots indicate before the market opens, and the red or pinkish, purple, whatever color that is, indicates after the market closes. All right, so what we can do is hover over the instrument, and this is also going to show the expected move. So this is showing for Goog and Google about a 4.9492% move, and then for Microsoft a 4.74% move. So this is this afternoon, just after the market closes, for Google and Microsoft. And then tomorrow, after the market closes, Meta reports, and a little bit larger expected move there, 7.82% plus or minus. All right, so that's earnings. And then, of course, tomorrow the FOMC meeting concludes at 2 p.m. and the rate announcement comes out at 2 p.m. and then the press conference begins at 2:30. And this will be the announcement will come during my session. So wherever I am in my presentation, I will stop and we'll watch the live market at 2 p.m. So that's tomorrow. And then on Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m., GDP comes out and durable goods. So economic data, GDP and durable goods. And then Friday, the PCE comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. All right, let's start with positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to take a look at a larger time frame. This is SPX in a 30-day 1-hour chart. Excuse me. So this is SPX in a 30-day 1-hour chart. The reason this is so, I guess, scrunched up here is the Spotgamma put wall moved down pretty substantially from 4,300 yesterday to 4,000 today. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. So first of all, let me point out the expected moves for the week, shown with the dashed purple lines, and then the lower and upper daily expected move, shown by the dashed blue lines. So it looks like SPX is approaching that upper daily expected move. So I talked about the Spotgamma put wall. These Spotgamma levels, shown with the horizontal dark red lines, are proprietary to Spotgamma. These are key gamma levels. So again, the first is the put wall. That's the strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support, and obviously that is not in play. And then the next level up is the volatility trigger, and that is at 45.40. So that's right here, and that is Spotgamma's gamma flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to enhance or increase volatility. On the other hand, above that level, like SPX is trading now, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And then the next level up is the 4,600 level. That is the call wall. That's the strike with the largest net positive gamma, and that is also the absolute gamma strike. That's the strike with the largest absolute gamma. And note that level did move up from yesterday, 4,500 yesterday, and then again the absolute gamma strike moved up to 4,600 today. So there's been a build of call gamma at higher levels, primarily 4,600 for SPX, and around the 4060 level, the call wall for SPY. All right, so those are the key gamma levels. That's for SPX. Let's take a look at another SPX chart. This is for today. So this is a 1-day, 1-minute chart. Oops. All right, so this is showing the levels that are in play for today. So just a gradual uptrend all day. SPX is now trading just below the upper daily expected move, shown with the dashed blue line. And this combo L2 level is in play also. And then here's the upper weekly expected move. All right, let's take a look now at Bookmap. On this chart, I have the SPX level shown in my Cloud Notes columns. So there's that 4573 combo 2 level that combines SPX and SPY gamma into one level. And there's the 4565 level that was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. And then I have key SPY levels. There's the SPY 455 level that did act as resistance earlier today. And now SPX is up around the, again, the upper daily expected move for SPX, the SPY 456 level, and also the big round number for ES 4600. All right, so that's the S&P 500. We'll talk about setups in a few minutes. Those are the levels in play. Also this morning, the SPY 454 volatility trigger did act as support and a launching point for a move higher. And again, we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. So these are the levels that are in play so far, really price ranging between the SPY 454 volatility trigger and the upper daily expected move, also the SPY 456 level. All right, so I talked about shifts in levels for SPX. The put wall shifted substantially lower. That is not really much of a concern. It's so far out of play. And more significantly, the absolute gamma strike did shift higher to 4600. And for SPY, the volatility trigger shifted higher from 452 yesterday to 454 today. And that was the only shift higher for SPY. All right, that's the S&P 500, the levels in play for today. Minor shifts in levels, the absolute gamma strike for SPX and the volatility trigger for SPY. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. And I'm going to take a look at a chart for QQQ to take a look at the levels that are in play for today. Actually, let me. All right, so these are the levels that are in play for today for QQQ. And just a reminder, the call wall is much higher at 390, not in play today. And it looks like the 377 as well as this combo L1 level just right below 377 was the support and launching point for the QQQ to move higher. And this is the volatility trigger at 379. And that acted somewhat as resistance, and now price is trading above that. So those are the QQQ levels that are in play for today. Let's take a look now at NQ futures. And again, I have my own cloud notes. I'm showing the QQQ 380 level there. That is the absolute gamma strike for QQQ. There's the 379 volatility trigger just below the NQ upper daily expected move. That level did act as resistance earlier today. Now price is trading above. Sorry about that. So here is the cluster of levels that did act as support this morning. That is the NDX 15,475 call wall level. There's a combo level just above that, and then also the QQQ 377 level. All right, so those are the levels that are in play for the NASDAQ, and again we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. All right, so shifts in levels for the NASDAQ, there were none. No shifts in levels for NDX or QQQ. So for QQQ, the absolute gamma strike remains at 380, the call wall at 390, and the put wall at 375, and the volatility trigger at 379. And so far today, the volatility trigger and absolute gamma strike are in play. All right, let's take a look at some other data. Take a look at gamma notional. This is market maker's position on the gamma curve at the beginning of the day. So again, market maker's position on the gamma curve for SPX, SPY, NDX, and QQQ. So this is showing for SPX, market maker's position on the gamma curve is positive. And again, in a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure, and that tends to subdue volatility. So that's SPX, and a slightly negative for SPY, and also negative for QQQ. But all these numbers did shift higher from yesterday. So gamma notional for SPX became more positive, and for SPY and QQQ less negative. And I mentioned the build and call gamma for the S&P 500, especially noted with the let's see, the 4,600 level for SPX. Let's just take a look at that. So here's SPX, the absolute gamma strike, absolute gamma chart. What this is showing is gamma. We'll just zoom in on this a bit. So the orange bars are showing call gamma or positive gamma, and below the zero line the blue bars are showing put gamma or negative gamma. So that's the 4,600 level right there, and that is the strike with the largest absolute gamma. So gamma has been building at that level. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. I'm going to start with the S&P 500. What this chart is showing, I'm going to zoom in. So I'm just showing mostly the regular trading hours. What this chart is showing is price with the white line for SPX, and this is the hero signal. And it's showing options trades and market maker, the resulting market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. So if you're trading the S&P 500, this is what you want to take a look at. All right, let's zoom in on this chart now. So I'm going to focus on the morning session and note go focus just a little bit more here. So note the rising hero signal. Kind of choppy, but general uptrend, just like price. Options traders taking positive delta positions. Market makers are taking the opposite side of those trades, and they have to buy futures to hedge their delta exposure. And that was a big contributor to price moving higher today. All right, we'll take a closer look at calls and puts and zero DT in just a minute. So what I want to focus on really here is just the setup. So the thing to do for this morning was just to look for, with a rising hero line, just to look for pullbacks, places to get long. So there's around 10:10, 10:30, just before 11, pullbacks to get long. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go back to the S&P 500. So we'll zoom in on the morning session. So if you didn't catch the move higher right at the open, there were several pullback opportunities, mainly to VWAP. That's shown by this blue line there. That's VWAP. So pullbacks to VWAP. Multiple pullbacks gives you long entries. As traders were taking positive delta positions in the S&P 500 futures, or in SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures. All right, let's see what traders were doing. So let's go back to HERO. And HERO stands for Hedging Impact Real-Time Options. So this is the morning session up till from about 9:30 cash open until just before noon. So let's separate out now puts and calls. And this is pretty typical. Traders buying calls and buying puts. And in this case, call buyers more aggressive. And it's pretty obvious from looking at that line, that is what is driving price today. So the notional value there is positive 2.28 billion versus puts at about minus 994 million. So they're buying calls and buying puts. Call buyers more aggressive, and that is helping to drive price higher. So there's the morning setups in the S&P 500. Let's go back. Take a look at the total signal. Now we can also take a look at the zero DTE options trades. Those are options trades that expire today. That's shown by this green line here. And it looks like about 2/3 of the notional value is zero DTE trades. Let's go back to Bookmap. And note this move up finally broke above the 455 level, consolidated for about an hour, and then right around 12:45 moved up to this cluster of levels above. Alright, so that's the S&P 500. One interesting thing to note here is the stop run that fueled this breakout move higher. That's shown by the rising yellow line there. Also these numbers with a small green dot above price, those are all buy stop orders. And note that large traders were buying this move with iceberg orders. That's what they use to hide their size. That's shown by this rising light blue line up until about 12:45. And then the light blue line starts to fall. Let's go back and take a look at Hero. Going to zoom out to the full day. So we know that larger traders started selling with iceberg orders just after 12:30. Let's see what options traders were doing at the same time. So here options traders started taking negative delta positions. Came in and started buying again, and now they are taking negative delta positions for sure. All right, so this is we're zoomed all the way, showing the entire day. So it looks like they have stopped buying calls and continue to buy puts. And note now the total numbers for the green line, the 0 DTE, matches up pretty closely with the total, all expirations. All right, so morning setup, kind of slow grind up, but pullbacks to VWAP. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. I'm going to zoom in on the morning session. So NASDAQ, the options traders, as opposed to the NASDAQ options traders, as opposed to the S&P 500, were taking negative delta positions from the open as price was increasing. That set up a short just right around 10 a.m. And then notice as price drops, options traders started taking positive delta positions just around 10:30, and then price reverses higher. Looks like about 25 minutes later. So there was a divergent short and a divergence long in NASDAQ. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, so Captain Crush asks, is this chart on toss? I'm not sure which chart you're referring to. This chart is not. This is Bookmap Global Plus. So I did show at the beginning of my presentation, I did show Thinkorswim charts, TOS, Thinkorswim. But the charts that I'm looking at now are Bookmap Global Plus and Spotgamma Hero, which is on the web. All right, so this is NASDAQ. Let's zoom in on the morning. So here is here's that divergent short. Remember in Hero, options traders were taking negative delta positions from the open. Price increased up to the just below the QQQ 379 volatility trigger level and reversed lower. And then as price was moving lower, traders started taking positive delta positions and price reversed higher, somewhere between VWAP and the NQ 15,600 level. And Captain Crush asked, are there any videos showing how to set up Bookmap like mine? And no, I'm sorry, I don't have any specific videos. You can contact me in Discord. My name at Discord is Doug P. And I do provide mentoring. I can provide you with an individualized session to help you set up your Bookmap chart. So just contact me in Discord. And Aniket asked, can you put a view on Bank Nifty? I'm not sure what that is. All right, so there was a divergent short set up this morning and a divergence long in NASDAQ. All right, let's go take a look at Hero again. So right now it looks like just about 130, 145 traders started taking negative delta positions in NASDAQ. And we'll talk more about the live market in a few minutes. Up until then, the options traders were supporting a long in NASDAQ. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. So first of all, let's take a look at stocks that are reporting earnings today, and that is Google and Microsoft. So we'll start with those. So here's Google. And it looks like options traders set up a long just around 11 a.m. A little bit difficult to read. I have Google here because of its large influence on the NASDAQ, but don't trade it that much. So let's take a look at Bookmap. It looks like it really caught a bid around 12:30. We'll see what options traders were doing. So right around 12:30, options traders started buying calls. That's shown by the rising orange line there. And price responded higher. So let's go to Bookmap, take a look at Google. So Aniket says Bank Nifty is contract traded in Indian markets. Sorry, I don't look at Indian markets. Bookmap Discord does have a channel for the India markets, and that there may be some other, they may know how to look at the Indian stock market. I don't know. I just mainly trade S&P 500, NASDAQ, and large cap tech stocks, and that's what I focus on. So in Hero, which is what I use, that I don't think there's any that I know for sure there are no Indian stocks. no Indian indexes in Hero. All right, so here's Google. Really choppy morning, caught a bid right around 12:30. All right, let's take a look at Microsoft. Let's go take a look at Hero for Microsoft. So for Google Net, the signal for today is pretty flat, just slightly negative, so slightly negative notional value. Okay, let's go take a look at Microsoft now. And it's another story in Microsoft. Notional value positive 117 million. Traders taking positive delta positions ahead of earnings. Let's see what they're doing. So they're mainly buying calls. There was a large block order, mostly maybe multiple block orders, put sellers, and then call buyers. So both numbers are positive here. So net traders are selling puts and buying calls ahead of earnings in Microsoft. All right, let's look for setups. So the first was a confirmation long, just right around 9:35. Traders were taking positive delta positions. Price jumped up, and then price started to consolidate and move down as traders stopped, and then started to move up again just before 11 a.m. as traders started taking positive delta positions again. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. So here is if you caught the move at the open, long entry right around 346. Then Microsoft came back down, did a retest of the 346 level, and moved higher. And note these bright red dots, these numbers, that's showing a sell sweep down to that level. And you can see the pink volume dots. Aggressive sellers down to that level, a sell sweep, and then aggressive buyers start to come in. You can see the shift from pink dots, market sell orders, and shifting to market buy orders. So pink dots to green dots, and options traders supporting the move higher from 346 up to 350. Let's go back and take a look at Hero. So no gamma levels in play for Microsoft, but bullish hedging flow, bullish order flow. All right, so Captain Crush asks, what server are you on in Discord? So my channel, the Options-Doug channel, is in the Bookmap Bookmap Discord, but you can find me on Discord. Just again, my name is Doug P. And you can just contact me by direct message. All right, and Karma FX, thank you for the helpful information. All right, so Karma FX wants to look at Apple, Meta, and NVIDIA, and NVIDIA and Meta are on my list. So let's take a look at Meta. And this was a nice divergence long. So notice the rising hero signal from the open. Hero continues to rise. Price moves down. This takes about 30 minutes to play out, and then price reverses higher. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. All right, Captain Crush, great. All right, so here is Meta. Kind of a choppy reversal here. Good entry at the test of the 293 level. As options traders were taking positive delta positions. We'll take a quick look at Apple. I didn't see much earlier today. Pretty narrow range in Apple. Not much going on. Let's take a look at Hero for Apple. So not much here. On the other hand, NVIDIA so a couple of great setups here in NVIDIA today. The first was right at the open. Let's zoom in on this. And note the strong correlation between options trades, hedging flow, and price action. That's pretty typical for NVIDIA. Note here the 450 key gamma strike, and that was the launching point for a sharp move higher. Traders were buying calls and selling puts at the open. And right now, this is up until about just after 12 o'clock. Pretty equal numbers, both positive. Traders selling puts and buying calls in NVIDIA. Looks like calls are have a little bit closer correlation to price action. So when traders buy calls, market makers sell the calls. They have to buy stock to hedge their delta exposure, and that can drive a stock price much higher. All right, let's take a look at Bookmap. So the entries were just at the open, pullbacks, and then a deeper pullback about 1050 as traders, they stopped buying calls but continued to sell puts. And there's the total signal. Let's go to Bookmap. So in contrast to Apple, NVIDIA was a big mover today. So I thought for NVIDIA, the hedging flow and order flow were really much easier to read than the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, which both chopped around quite a bit in the morning. So here was the initial move higher as traders were aggressively buying calls at the open. First pullback, second pullback, and then this deeper pullback to 456. And you can see the shift in order flow here. Aggressive sellers, pink dots on the way down, and the shift to green dots, aggressive buyers, as well as call buyers and put sellers, helped to move price up to the 460 level. And 460 was the target for the first move higher this morning. Note all the liquidity in that level that comes in at the cash open. And this liquidity can act as a magnet for price. All right, so that was NVIDIA. Nice long setups in NVIDIA today. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ, Tesla, I'm sorry. And notice the very bearish order flow, all the pink dots, all the aggressive sellers. Let's take a look at Hero and see what options traders were doing. So now let's go to Tesla. So this is a very interesting divergence, I thought. This is not typical for Tesla. Seeing price move lower while Hero is moving higher. This is like an index type divergence that takes this long to play out. So while aggressive sellers were selling Tesla, options traders were taking positive delta positions. Let's see what they were doing. So they're mainly selling puts. That's shown by the rising blue line. Maybe if they were aggressively buying calls, that would have had a stronger influence on price, but eventually price reversed higher as options traders continued to sell puts. So there's Tesla reversal at the 266 level. Let's just check on gamma levels. So 270 is the put wall, the key gamma strike, and the hedge wall. So 270 is a very important gamma level for Tesla. All right, I think I covered all the stocks that I wanted to, as well as all the stocks that Karma FX mentioned. Again, if anybody has any other stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll take a look at the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Oh, one thing, there was a question in Discord this morning from Leo about my VWAP setting. All right, so I'll take a look at that in just a moment. And Serendipity wants to take a look at Rivian. So I don't have Rivian in Bookmap, but I can take a look at it here in Hero. We'll see what options traders are doing. All right, so in the morning, traders were taking positive delta positions in Rivian. So I think Rivian has been in play. It's not a stock that I typically follow, but there it is. So traders were buying calls this morning, shown by the rising orange line. And as they stopped buying calls, price started to move lower. So far for today, it looks like Rivian is trading back around the opening for today. And options traders have not done much with puts. And then they started selling calls. There was a large block order for selling calls. All right, so that's Rivian. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. And you're welcome, Serendipity. All right, so this is the S&P 500. Traders continue to take positive delta positions. Price continues to grind higher. Let's go back to Bookmap. So starting around 12:30, 12:45, larger traders started to fade this move with iceberg orders, shown by the falling blue line. That number is also negative for the day. And the move is higher is being fueled by buy stop orders as well as aggressive buyers. Both stops and CVD are positive for the day. These are cumulative numbers. So CVD starts at CVD starts at the open from yesterday afternoon. That's the data that I have. And then the market by order data for stops and icebergs start when I open Bookmap around 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So stop orders and aggressive buyers fueling the move higher. Larger traders are fading this move, and so far, net on the day, options traders are supporting the move higher. All right, let me check for questions. And Protocol Forex asked tips for market structure. Synthetic indices, derivatives, synthetic indices, in terms to consider when analyzing with market structure. So I'm not sure I understand your questions. If you're looking for market structure, Bruce, the Director of Education at Bookmap, he has a live webinar on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. And that's his specialty, market structure, microstructure. That's something that he looks at in detail. So if that's what you're looking for, I suggest you take a look at Bruce's webinars. He's live again Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then the recordings of his sessions are available on the Bookmap YouTube channel. All right, so that is the S&P 500 continues to grind higher toward the upper daily expected move. Let's check on NASDAQ. And NASDAQ continues to grind higher. Pretty similar scenario to S&P 500. Larger traders have been selling this all day with iceberg orders. and the move higher up above the upper daily expected move, fueled by aggressive buyers and stop orders. My stop orders, both positive. Iceberg orders negative. Let's see what options traders are doing. So there was a dip in Hero right around 130 to 2, and then options traders started taking positive delta positions again. Notice that price dipped a bit, leveled off, and then started to move higher as options traders started taking positive delta positions again. So buy stop orders, aggressive buyers, as well as options traders all supporting the move higher. And this move higher really began for NASDAQ just right around 1050 as traders started taking positive delta positions more aggressively. In Karma FX, as I shorted my long because I surpassed my daily profit target. Nothing wrong with that. And now I wish I would have stayed in longer. So, that happens sometimes. But again, nothing wrong with taking profits when you hit your target. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 again. And pretty similar scenario here for the S&P 500 as Hero started to move lower. Price moved slightly lower and then started to move higher as traders started taking positive delta positions again just right around 2 p.m. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. And Karma FX, I'm glad you're learning so much. I'm glad this helps. And now the ES heading up toward the upper daily expected move at 4607. All right, nice steady uptrend in the S&P 500. Multiple pullback entries. All long setups. All right, my time is up. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks for your questions and comments. And remember tomorrow, first of all today, Microsoft and Google report earnings after the close today. That could have a strong influence, especially on the NASDAQ. And then tomorrow, the FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. That will be during my session. So I'll go through the positional analysis and setup review up until just a minute or two before 2 p.m. and then we'll stop and take a look at the live market, and then we'll check the Fed Watch tool to see what traders are expecting for tomorrow. So thanks again. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.